Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to another MAMG Let's Play of Narcissu, or Narcissu, as it's written in the Japanese katakana above it. So that is how they say it in Japanese. I don't know why, but I guess that's the best way they can pronounce it. Either way, we are on the final chapters for the first side, I guess. There's like a side second that we'll do later on. But for today, we're going to finish chapters 5 and 6, and that should complete this. And I'm very curious to see what's going to happen with our main characters, because they've been out for a little bit. They've got some more resources now, but they were running low on resources, so we should be heading to the island, I believe. Oh, we know. Okay, this should be her. The #1 route, continuing on forever. Places unknown. And I loved cars because it could take me anywhere. But no matter how much useless trivia I gained, it was all in my imagination, relentlessly chipping away at reality and at my heart. I had a swimsuit, I had maps, but I had no future. There was a world outside my window, but it was nothing that I could touch. If I closed my eyes, I could go to a world without anything in it, but it wasn't as if the real world would disappear from me. I knew all of this. My lifelong companion scars were telling me to get used to this world of closed eyes. And yet, I was still filled with what-ifs and dreamed of wild possibilities. But eventually, the yearning never progressed past yearning. The bikini swimsuit, the emerald sea. My huge scars told me that I should give up on them already. I spent most of my life in the hospital, amidst this world of closed eyes. It was so sad to only be able to choose between the 7th floor and home. No other options given. However, it was sadder still that I couldn't think of any other places anyway. But I've lived on for 22 years like this. Aww. When I murmured those words, I felt time, which should have been standing still, begin to move again. That day, my heart, which should have been standing still, was in torment. Oh, this is gonna give me goosebumps, I know it is. The silver coupe, whose hood reflected the clear blue skies of winter, wandering around as aimlessly as ever, but at least no more worries about gas or food. Soon enough, we came across a large intersection. I hadn't obtained her approval last night, but I was still heading west regardless. The only problems were that I didn't know the roads at all, and it would be tough on our budget to make the tollways. Those were my thoughts as we drew near the large intersection. I was about to continue heading straight without a single thought when... Huh? An abrupt request. Even as I wondered what was up, I turned left as she has requested onto a very large wide road. Reading! Can I do it? Probably not. What was that about? Okay. For now? I was surprised by her sudden direction giving. We'd been together up until now, and she seemed to know just about everything. But this is the first time she'd voluntarily given me directions. Could it be that you've decided you want to go, after all? Well, you know the place we talked about, to Awaji Island. No, that's not what I meant at all. We were driving along without any purpose. I was floundering in search of some destination, and always enigmatic, she was ever looking into the distance. So the words that had just come out of her mouth took me completely by surprise. What? Just, what do you think you're saying? Oh, go buy a swimsuit for her. Nagoya, huh? The silver coupe shimmered with sunlight underneath the clear winter sky. We'd passed through the steep slopes and sharp curves of Hakone, and now we're in a much more relatively flat area. Hey, where are we anyway?
愛知県よ。間もなく名古屋市街に入るわ。
We were driving through the normal highways because we were on too limited of a budget to use the tollways. I could never have done this alone, but thanks to her, we were making good progress. Her instructions, more accurate than any navigation system. I didn't know why I felt this way, but I could tell that we were on the right track.
次の交差点、22号線に入って。
Got it. I turned the steering wheel and changed lanes as I had been told to do. The scenery streaming past the window, the sights and sounds of a city I'd never seen before, spreading to the north. And around the time when the wide open spaces around us had transitioned into urban neighborhoods. Hey, want to stop by there? Some family restaurant at the roadside of the highway. I pointed to it as I drove and kept talking. After all, we've had convenience store food all the way up until now, right? Of course, it wasn't as if we'd been subsisting on convenience store food because we liked it. There was the fact that we had no money, and there was also the fact that we were on edge. But now we had a little more money to spare, and that's why I suggested it. After all, a family restaurant can be a nice change of pace, eh?
私はコンビニでいい。
She looked down a little as she said this, as if she were staring at her clothes or something. Oh, fair enough. Speaking of which, those clothes were way too big on her. Alright, then next up, how about stopping by that place?
あっちって。
Look, over on your side, that jean shop over there. And there stood the jeans and casual wear wholesale chain store that I'd seen other locations of on normal highways. That kind of store isn't likely to be that expensive either. We're stopping in, alright? I'm stopping now. No reply, but no resistance either. It might as well have been. That it would be better for me to think of her non-replies as answers to the affirmative, or something. We went into the store. She peered curiously around the two huge floors of the place, looking into every single corner there was. She was as without words as she has always been, and she may not have looked much different from her usual. But this was a little different from the way she was when she was watching that boring TV that reflected nothing. She examined item after item of clothing, and seemed to be considering the prices. And then, whenever she tried on a new outfit, she'd come running up to me and...
どう？
Oh, that's so cute! What do I think? I think that it looks pretty good on you.
変じゃない？
No, that's adorable! No, I don't think so. And in this fashion, she tried on another outfit after outfit, coming to show it off to me every single time. She did not once smile or let any facial expression out, but it seemed to me that she was somehow happy about this. Alright, have you decided?
これにする。
Saying this, she showed me her final outfit, a pretty shirt and a short skirt. With what she'd selected, it did make her look like a middle or high school student, but she seemed to be pleased enough. Now, if memory served, she told me in the past she was older than me. But no matter how I looked, that just didn't seem true. Such the opposite, in fact, that I couldn't help but smile. But you know, maybe it would be better if that skirt were a bit longer. Oh, no. I'm not saying it doesn't look good on you at all. See, it's cold, you know, and that kind of outfit...
別に平気よ。
Aww.
私我慢するから。
When she spoke these words, I saw a little bit of pink rise to her pale face. For a girl who always kept herself absolutely emotionless, could it be that she was blushing? The first expression of emotion that I'd ever seen from her. Back on the road again. The somewhat noisy silver coupe speeding along underneath the high heavens of winter.
次で21号線に入って。
She wants to look cute for him. Got it. She was acting as the navigator as usual. In no time at all, we'd entered the Gifu prefecture. But if this were as usual, she'd only be looking out the window at nothing. But now she was checking herself in the side view mirror over and over, as if well pleased. Checking herself in that mirror as if she didn't want me to catch her doing it.
何？
Well, it looks like you're pretty happy with those clothes. That's all.
別にそんなことないわよ。
Uh-huh. With that, she stopped looking at the side view mirror. But after a little while, she started checking herself again as I watched. So there were awfully cute things about her as well. And even if there was something as small as this, as normal could be, I found it very cute. She is super cute. Around when the sun had darkened into night, some roadside somewhere, around when we'd finished our dinner, convenience store again. I wonder what's happened since we left. The white vinyl ID bracelet hanging loosely around my wrist. I murmured those words as I looked at the inscriptions. My blood type and name, and the name of the hospital. Do you think they're in an uproar?
多分ね。
Yeah. Parents, friends, and the doctors. And even if it were only a paper-thin display on their part, I was still a little sorry to think that they might be worried. My bad, Father, everyone. I did something selfish without consulting anyone. Yeah, your dad gave you the keys. I don't know what he was thinking. What is it?
最初に死ぬって聞かされた時、
Oh, don't give me goosebumps.
泣いた。
I was instantly shocked by her sudden question, but then I was silent and pondered upon it some. Come to think of it, I don't think I cried.
じゃあどうして自分だけって運命を呪った？
I don't remember doing that either. At first, I couldn't believe that it was actually happening, as if it weren't part of reality at all. But maybe, just maybe, I did feel something. A little. One of my buddies from the Technical Institute bought a new car, and he was complaining about how he'd had to take out huge loans. Some got their first jobs, others were still in school. Some had children, others got dumped by their girlfriends. But I had no future. So in truth, I think I did wonder why it had to be me. Even if I told myself that this was fate, I think I did feel as if I couldn't accept that. Then, how about you?
私？
Yeah, did you cry or curse fate?
私は平気だった。
And why?
だって最初から何も望んでなかったから。私は諦めていたから。
Is that so? No way to despair if you'd given up from the beginning. No fun to turn your back that way, but not difficult either. But I couldn't help but feeling that it was just too sorrowful that way. Or could it have been that in her case, there was no other possible course of action?
前に見た映画で言ってた。狼は3年しか生きないって。
Huh? Wolves? She abruptly changed the topic on me.
でもロバは9年も生きるんだって。
Why was that? Why 3 years for wolves and 9 years for donkeys?
ロバは役に立つから長生きする。
Oh.
そういうことらしいの。
She murmured these words as she looked out the window impassively. So this was the thing that she told herself. To resign herself. To abandon herself to her fate. The midwinter sky at sunset. Our progress straight through number 21 route. The flickering white specks dancing in the twilight sky. It was starting to snow, and snow hard.
どうかした？
Yeah, it's snowing. And sure enough, it looked like there was snow covering the roadsides. I had no idea when we'd entered a region of heavy snow, but as far as the eye could see, everything was draped in white. This was somewhat concerning. As far as I could tell, these tires weren't the studless variety. If we ran into any snow heavier than this, it was likely that we were going to be in trouble. Hey, does it snow here a lot? See, if it snows much more than this, it'll be tough. There wasn't any snow on the road right now, but it would be no surprise to encounter frozen road segments from here on out. And given that, it could very well become necessary to equip tire chains, something they hadn't gone over in training. So, do you know?
この先は関ヶ原。
Well, yeah, you told me that earlier, but what I want to know is if it snows a lot there.
わからない。
She answered, somehow desolate. And it made me feel that there was something incongruous here. For someone who knew these roads this well, who knew just about everything about this car, something like that should have been child's play. Very well. I'll just drive carefully. She's hiding it, because she wants to go. A beach. We'd gotten off the car and were looking at a lake. A chilly wind kicked up, scattering a powder snow across the lake's frozen surface. And in its mist, she slowly began walking toward that beach, as if it were the ocean itself. This was a spectacle I'd seen before.
ねえ、どう思う？
Are you asking me whether I think you would die without much pain if you walked in?
海より楽な気がする。
I have no idea what your basis for that is.
だって海水は塩辛いし、体も浮いちゃうでしょ。
Quite a deductive ability that you have there. Under the cold north wind and the falling snow, we argued jokingly, seriously, who knew, about our one and end point. And after a while, she began walking toward the lake once more.
やっぱり止めないの。
You don't have any intention to die today, do you now?
そうかも。
How much further was it until this Awaji island of which we'd spoken? It wasn't as if I'd particularly wanted to go there, but I didn't have any problem with going there either. But, though we'd wandered without a purpose up until now, the seeds of a final destination were being born in us. The girl who had halted her progress towards the waters, even without my having to stop her. Most likely, that was the way it was for her, too.
そこから1号に戻って。
Got it. From number 8 back to number 1. Under the guidance of her navigation, we are now heading toward Kusatsu.
ねえ、今ってお金は大丈夫？
Yeah, we still have 30,000 yen or so. After we'd hit that clothing store, we'd only spent money on convenience store food. Why? What's up?
じゃあ高速に乗る？
The tollway? Why? Can't we get there through normal highways?
確かにギリギリまでならいけるけど、でも最終的には必ず有料道路に乗るから。
I see. So that's how you get to Awaji Island. I didn't know it that well, but apparently in order to get there, we'd have to cross some bridge called Seto or something.
じゃあ草津からバイパスに入って。
Got it. Under her direction, I went from the Seta interchange to the Meishin Expressway. Compared to all the roads we've been on so far, it was obvious that this was a real expressway. No traffic lights, a beautiful perspective. Seemed pretty simple, even to a beginner like me. But as I got on the rightmost lane, I heard a terrific sound behind me. At first, I had no concept of a passing lane or anything, but as I got used to it, the expressway was almost fun. It's a pretty incredible car. Some cars were passing us at terrific speed, and without thinking, the two of us exchanged glances. And sure enough, from her passenger seat, she was looking somewhat different from usual. While usually she'd be staring out the window into the distance, today she was looking around at other cars with great interest. Speaking of which, she knew a lot about cars for some reason or another, didn't she? I pointed at the car that had just blown past us. Hey, what kind of car is that? A quiz to pass the time, see?
トヨタセリカオーバービュー
And the one we just overtook?
シトロークサラ
Wow, you know a lot. To tell the truth, I didn't know whether she was right or not. but it was really pleasant to hear words coming from her usual silent lips. So I kept plying her with more questions.
青いのがユーノス、赤いのはアルファロメオ。
She even told me about the two cars that were just passing us now. But I'm willing to bet you don't know what that is. I pointed to a truck, not a car, as I spoke. I wanted to see a little perplexity seep into that expressionless face of hers. So you don't know trucks that well then?
日産アトラス。10。
Oh, wow. You're incredible. I'd been planning on teasing her, but instead she'd gone straight over my head. Isn't that level of knowledge something to be proud about?
そう。
Yeah, I think you could toot your own horn about it. She had no words in response. It felt like she was blushing a little bit. So she loved cars after all. Then, when we get there, want to try driving?
でも私、免許持ってない。
It'll be fine. Driving along the beach will be fun, don't you think? If we went all the way to Awaji Island, then there would be lots of places without any people. And this car had a stick shift, so I thought she might have fun driving it. If you want, I'll teach you. Although, to be honest, I'm a complete beginner myself. Oh, they're gonna drive together! Oh god, here we go. I think this is the final chapter. Around when the high-flying sun slowly started to drop into shadow. The silver coupe speeding along the tollway. Before long, the Katsugawara parking area. A short break, a change of pace. Want to stop at the next rest area too?
うん。
What's wrong?
ちょっと疲れたみたい。
Oh no, don't do this! I see. And that probably wasn't unreasonable. She'd been pretty energetic a while back, and that was taxing on patients as sick as we were. Then I'll go buy something for you. I'll be back in a second. I rushed over to the snack stand and picked up a few things no different from the standard convenience store fare. Here, a Pocari Sweat and some rice balls. And potato chips. Her response was the same as ever, but she didn't start eating at all. Under usual circumstances, she'd have already torn into the potato chips by now. Are you okay? Could it be you're not feeling so well?
薬が切れただけだから。
Oh no! I see. So she was out. I'd been scared of that. Well, yes, we'd escaped from the hospital. It was obvious it was going to happen. To be clear, it wasn't as if we were intentionally leaving meds behind. But I hadn't even thought about it up until now. I hadn't even had the sense to think about it. When did you run out?
昨日の夜。
So, you've been off of them for 24 hours pretty soon. The doctors told me that I could go on without my meds for 2 days or so. Maybe she was the same way. And when I thought about it, it'd been 8 days since we'd left the hospital. And given the amount of meds I brought with me, I could see the end of the line coming to view. Just, what was I supposed to do?
ね、私、7階は嫌よ。
Yeah. Yeah, I know. You don't want to be at home either. The silver coupe, in motion once again. Eventually, I got off the tollway at the next exit. I didn't know that was gonna change things, but it wasn't as if staying on the tollway was gonna help. So he got off to make it a little bit easier on her. I headed into an urban area from the one tollway exit, and I looked for a pharmacy attached to a large hospital, not to a small private clinic. Probably it would have been best just to go to the hospital, and for any normal patient, that would have been obvious. But we were inhabitants of the 7th floor. The ID bracelets there's not even a round there. The ID bracelets around our wrists were white, not blue. And we were escapees from the 7th floor at that. I circled around the neighborhood as I held those thoughts in my mind. Probably, we'd be able to find what we needed at a pharmacy near a large hospital. Found it! A university hospital at a major intersection, and a couple pharmacies clustered next to it. I figured that this was as good as any and stopped as it got and stopped the car in a vacant lot. Hey, give me your medication bag. She handed the bag over to me with a curious look on her face. I looked into that bag and took out the medication list therein. This is just what I needed. Alright, I'll be right back. Leaving her in the car, I ran toward the nearby pharmacy. The automatic doors slid open and I walked in. I headed directly for the counter. Welcome. A middle-aged man came to the counter to greet me. Probably a pharmacist given his white coat. Could I have these drugs, please? Yes, of course. In just a moment. With the medication list I'd given him, he retreated into the interior of the pharmacy. Probably this was a pharmacy affiliated with the hospital, not just a standard mom-and-pop outfit. I'd gotten my meds dispensed from places just like this back when I was attending outpatient clinics. After all, it was right next to the hospital, so this place should have the meds we needed. Thank you for waiting. Here we are. The pharmacist had come back after a short time. He was holding 2 plastic bags, each of them full of medication bottles. With that amount, we'd be fine for now. That would probably last her a week or so. And when I took out my wallet from my pocket, oh, may I see your prescription? Prescription? Yes, these are prescription medications. Your doctor did give you one, yes? I'd forgotten about this. These were no ordinary medications, so I couldn't just waltz in and buy them. Is something the matter? Oh, well... As I stammered and stuttered, the pharmacist looked on with suspicion. Wait, that's... And then he noticed a white ID bracelet on my wrist. The letters inscribed on it. My name, my blood type, and the name of the hospital. Oh! The medications that he'd left on the counter, I swiped them all up at once. Hey, stop right there! He shouted at me from across the counter. But it was to my back. I'd already started sprinting. Only 5 meters to the door. My legs were weak, I was wobbly, but I kept running nonetheless. And when I was about to sprint out of the slowly opening doors of the pharmacy, just then... Ow! My senses widened out for a second. I'd hit my head on the edge of the automatic door so hard that apparently the glass of the door had shattered. Dizzy, almost syncopal, I forced myself open the half-closed door with my hands. I'm sorry, I don't know why I can't read today. I'm like so many emotions going through my head right now, but I'm gonna take it easy. Whew, just take a breath and, enjoy this game, I guess. And then I broke off into a dead sprint. I did not once let those medications go. I was so out of breath that I felt like fainting. Only a few more meters to the car, but it felt much longer. Nobody was giving me chase, it seemed, but I didn't have time to keep looking behind me anyway. Because if I got caught, then what would happen to her? Would she wait for my return forever, alone in that car? I ran for dear life with those feelings at heart, staggering, short of breath, saddened that this was all the strength I had. I collapsed into the driver's seat and floored the pedals. I was forced to realize that I was even weaker than I was at the pachinko parlor. And when I checked myself in the rearview mirror, there was blood on my forehead, maybe from a glass shard. Well, hopefully the bleeding would stop soon enough. I applied pressure with the tissue as I drove.
大丈夫。
Yeah, I'm fine.
でも血が出てるし。
Don't worry about it. It's nothing. I waved my hand to tell her not to worry as she looked at me with concern. And then I handed over the medications that I had tightly clutched in my left hand. Here, take your meds. For now, we would be fine. Those meds would last us maybe a week. But what were we gonna do when they ran out? I'd managed to get by pretty well today, but it was obvious I was losing strength daily. We'd originally had no plan or destination, and you could not feel any fear of losing something you did not already have. But things were a little different now. A purpose had been born, and so a fear of losing that purpose had also been born. Oh god, what's gonna happen? A painfully clear day. The empty expanses of the high heavens of the winter above us. Back on the expressway. By now we had passed the Suita Junction onto the Hiroshima Road. Where are we going next?
神戸ジャンクションから。
Got it. To the Sanyo Expressway. The silver coupe, moving according to her navigation. By now, on the roadside distance indicators, every so often the words Awaji Island were appearing. We had already come 900 kilometers since we'd escaped from the 7th floor that day. I'd never believed that we would have made it. But our final destination was not far from us now. And soon, we could see a large bridge ahead of us. So, this is the Akashi Kaikyo Bridge. Pretty incredible, huh? It was hard to suppress a triumphant feeling, as if we could drive across the ocean on its expense. After we'd driven for a long while, there were people stopped at the roadside here and there on the en route to the bridge. Probably tourists or something, seeing as they were taking pictures and stuff. And just like those people, I stopped on the shoulder of the road.
ここ駐停車禁止よ。
If it's just for a little bit, it'll be okay. And as far as the eye could see, there were other cars that had done the same. Hey, come on, let's get some fresh air. It's probably an awesome view.
わかった。
She was still a little reluctant, but she got out of the car with me anyway. In the midst of the strong cold winds atop the bridge. This is colder than I thought it would be. It was all too much for us, since we'd never really gotten out of the car. And in stark contrast to us, there were people who seemed to be a couple not far from us. It looked like they were taking souvenir photos. Their happy voices carried all the way over to us. And when I looked around those two, I saw lots of families and tourist groups taking photos too. Souvenir photos, huh? Fair enough, one was supposed to take them at places like this. Come to think of it...
どうかした？
Yeah, wait for a second. There was a camera in here somewhere. When I inspected the car interior on the first time around, I saw a cheap disposable camera somewhere, I remembered. It still had a few shots left in it, if memory served. Having found the camera, I checked the film indicator. Oh good, still 2 shots left. Sorry for the wait. Come on, I'll take a picture of you. A photo! A photo! Might as well, you know.
嫌よ。
Oh, come on, don't be like that. Strike a pose or something. And I held up the camera toward her as I said this. Come on, look a little happy, won't you? But as if she were embarrassed, even when she turned to me, she had a little sour look on her face and nothing more. But it could have well been that even if she looked this way, she was trying her best to smile for me right now. With this at heart, I was about to take a picture of her when... Excuse me, could we ask you to take a picture? Oh, yes, of course. 2 people who look like a couple, coming towards us holding a camera. Then I'll take the picture now. Please do. They stood close to each other happily and flashed brilliant smiles. I centered those 2 in the viewfinder and snapped the photo. Return the favor, come on. Thank you very much. And now we'll take a picture of you 2. There we go. Oh, no, You're using this camera, right? Before I could answer, he'd taken my camera. No, it was more like he'd plucked it out of my hand. Probably wanted to get it over with as soon as possible, which is why I took the camera and ignored our hesitation. Alright, you 2, get closer. At those words, I stepped a little closer to her body. And with her usual lack of expression, she helplessly stepped a little closer to me. Shouldn't she be posing a little bit more? This meddlesome boyfriend character and his crazy demands. His girlfriend standing to the side, looking a little apologetic. And telling myself I had no other choice, I slowly put my arm around her shoulder. The first time I'd ever touched her. The feeling of her childlike clothing and her waist-length hair under my hand. I couldn't see her face now, I was looking straight at the camera. But maybe, just maybe, she was gracing me with that never-before-seen, shy, bashful, slightly sour look. Okay, I'm taking the picture now. Their business over, the couple started heading back to their car, and we were doing the same. My girlfriend, huh? Pretty bad misunderstanding, eh? Or could it be that we look that way to others? My words, spoken lightly and in jest. And enjoying myself for some reason, I kept speaking to her in that tone. What do you, Setsumi, what do you think?
何よ、年下のくせに。
And with those words, as usual, she turned back to look at the window. And just as usual, I couldn't see what kind of facial expression she was wearing. But I could tell that she wasn't looking too far into the distance. She was turning away because I was making her bashful. The spacious sky above our heads, spreading out into the distance with wintry clarity. Arrival at the Sumoto interchange, not far from that bridge. Exiting off the expressway back onto the normal highways. So we finally made it. The odometer indicated that we'd come over 900 kilometers ever since we'd left that day from the 7th floor. We'd arrived at a destination that hadn't been even cared about at the onset. Then, where do we go from here?
何に
South, got it. I took the route as per her instructions. But in truth, even I didn't know where to go at this point. I could see the sign of the tourist information from here. But without a second thought, I obeyed her navigational instructions. That was the way it had to be, and it could not be any other way. How was it that I came to think this way? Oh, there's another one! I thought there were only 6 chapters. Oh god, are there 8? I don't know if there's 8 or not. I thought I saw a thing that was only for 6. Okay, I need to check real quick and I'll see if there's 8 chapters or 7. If there's only 7, I'll go ahead and end it. If there's 8, then I feel really bad for ending it now. But again, I thought there were 6. Hold on one second. So I'm sorry about this. I just re-looked at the chapter guide, and apparently the first section has the prologue in 8 chapters. The second one has the prologue in 19 chapters, which is crazy long. But if I knew that, I would have tried to split it a little bit better. I really thought there were only 6 chapters in this visual novel, at least. So I do apologize. I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and end the video here, because at this point we've got about 20 minutes per chapter. But if I went ahead and tried to get through chapter 8, there may be an epilogue or something as well, and it may end up going over an hour and a half, which I don't want to overload everybody with one video. So I'm going to break it off right here, and then we will pick back up at chapter 7 and definitely finish the first part of this. So I'm sorry I messed up about that, but hopefully it's better to take it in small bites than to overwhelm it, because I have a feeling it's going to be just a tidal wave of emotions by the time we get to the end of this. Either way, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if you enjoyed. I'll see you guys on the next MAMJ. Let's go. Now I've got no idea what you're talking about. Those were her words, as she slowly walked into the sands, her back turned to me. The third time was the end. There was no fourth time. The choice was between dying on the 7th floor and dying at home. Apparently, no one had escaped this choice.